Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. And if you're new, I just want to say hello, hi, and welcome. I want to send a shout out to all the new subscribers. I'm so excited. I opened up my YouTube and seen that I have a few new subscribers. And it always makes me excited when I see new subscribers. So hello and welcome. And if you like this video and if you like this channel, don't forget to hit the little bell down below so you get notified every time I upload. Also, I want to say thank you to everybody that has donated. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I love you. I love you. I love you. And last but not least, I want to also thank everybody that has ordered a numerology report from me. Thank you so much. And if anybody is interested in ordering a numerology report from me, I have all the information in the description area down below, and everything is electronic. It's about 10 to 12 pages long. It's actually pretty long, and it's only $11.11, 11.11. It's an energy exchange, and you pay going to PayPal, and all of that information, again, is down below in the description area. Before we come here to Earth, to Gaia, before we incarnate, we set up a life plan and decide what we wish to experience before we incarnate on Gaia. We make several contracts with other souls who agree to play certain roles in our life during that incarnation. People like your parents, siblings, spouses, friends, and just random strangers that you meet. So for example, you might choose to experience a physical disability such as blindness and decide that the condition will be congenital, meaning you'll have this condition at birth or acquire it later on in life. If we're born blind, we don't know what it's like to have vision because we've never had it before. So we don't miss it. So in that case, if you're born blind, a blind person may develop other senses, hearing, touch to a more heightened level. But if we're born with vision, but develop blindness later on in life, like early childhood, midlife, old age, the contrast between having it versus not having that visual sensory input can be pretty dramatic. We might adapt by developing hyperacuity in other senses. What is the metaphysical or spiritual purpose of a disability? Well, in some cases, the soul chooses. Are you hearing me now? The soul chooses a physical or mental disability to limit the scope of life in that lifetime. That's what they chose to experience for whatever reason. Maybe they chose this to have fewer choices so that they can focus on one or two major issues better. It allows them to reduce distractions so that they're induced to be more introspective, to contemplate and reevaluate experiences from other lifetimes. Now, I read something by Helen Keller. Helen Keller said during an interview that the purpose is to find inner strength to overcome the dysfunctional mold that they're put in, to show that physical form does not have to be restrictive. Now, most of you may have heard of Helen Keller, who she is. I know I heard about the Helen Keller story when I was probably in 6th grade or 5th grade or something like that. Helen Keller was born a healthy baby, okay? But she contracted scarlet fever when she was 2 years old, or just before she turned 2 years old, which left her deaf and blind. But that didn't hold Helen Keller back, you guys. Helen Keller still lived a lovely, beautiful life, and she learned how to experience life through other senses. She found things by brushing them with her hands and her feet, and sensed other things energetically by feeling the vibration that was sent off by them. By the age of 7, Helen Keller had developed her own sign language so that she could communicate with her family. They say that she broke the mold by being the first deaf and blind person in her time to graduate from college. She's amazing, you guys. Just because she had a disability, it didn't make her disabled from living life. She wrote books. She wrote 12 books. She lectured and toured. She made a movie. She traveled. She traveled worldwide. And she also raised money for the blind. We're here to live life to co-create situations where we can resolve one or more major issues of safety, security, control, manipulation, trust, approval, or even abandonment by viewing them from another perspective. If we're coming to play or experience a disabled person in this lifetime, we usually make an agreement with another soul who will play or experience the role of the caretaker. Now, the caretaker can be anybody. It could be a parent, it could be a friend, it could be a person that has the experience of taking care of somebody with that disability of, whatever disability that they're taking care of. It could be literally anybody. If it's a parent, the parent of a disabled child may be learning about health issues, the health issue of the disabled person. They may be learning patience, tolerance, innocence, forgiveness, protection, sacrifice, resolve, support, adaptability to other people's needs, meaning the person that they're taking care of. And the list goes on and on and on. There's a lot to learn. These are all things that I had to learn because one of my children had a learning disability. He had ODD and ADHD. He was also classified as other health impaired. Doctors say it had something to do with lead poisoning when he was a child, lead paint. We lived in a very old house and his lead levels were very high. So they said that had something to do with it. So if you live in an old house and you have young children, please check your house to make sure that it is lead safe. Anyways, getting back on subject. It was very hard for me. It was very difficult for me to understand these disorders and how he functioned. It was something that I had to learn as a caretaker, as a parent. Not only is the caretaker learning, the disabled person may be learning about trust. They have to be able to trust you. You're taking care of them. They have to trust you. They might be learning approval, partnership, self-mastery, learning how to make choices, learn usefulness, learning how to be useful, learning stability, release, how to have humor. The list goes on and on and on for them as well. Now, having a disability is not just physically, it's also mentally. So what is the spiritual basis for common mental disorders? Mental conditions are poorly understood. They truly are. There are lots of individuals that have more than one soul aspect in their physical body, in their physical form. Believe it or not, it's true. For example, bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder, two souls incarnate in one person's body, one primary and one passive. Multiple personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder. Several souls, up to 7, incarnate in the same body, in the person's same body, but none of them are the primary dominant one. So all of them play passive but controlling roles that will confuse the person and their family, their caretaker. Schizophrenia. This is a tricky one. In some cases, an individual may be connected to other aspects of themselves that are in different lives and in different parts of the world and in different parts of the universe. They are experiencing it all concurrently without understanding why. And I also think that Alzheimer's dementia falls in this category as well. Me personally, that's what I feel. Autism spectrum disorder. This includes a variety of conditions, but in some cases, the child has 5 or 6 intuitive energetic channels above and beyond what we use. They're looking for communication or feedback from others that they're not getting, which may frustrate them. And I think that's where a lot of their frustration comes in, because they're communicating with you, but if you're not connected to them, you're not able to communicate back to them. And if you're vibrating on their level spiritually, it's a possibility that you guys will communicate with each other telepathically, which most caregivers do. People with disabilities, for example, they may not be able to hear, see, speak, or have mobility, but they're among the most psychic of all people. When I see these lovely souls, I tend to get upset and I feel sorry for them. Well, I used to tend to get upset and feel sorry for them. But then I remembered that they have and that they're using senses that most of us do not ever use. They are vibrating at such a higher level than us. Now, on a side note, these people are not born into a life of punishment. They chose to live this lifetime. Their soul chose this. Believe it or not, before you incarnate here on earth, you choose the lifestyle and the family and the situations that you're born into. You chose to look the way you look for whatever reason, because it's going to induce an experience that you chose for yourself in this lifetime. So their souls chose this for whatever reason they wanted to experience, to have this experience personally. They are the strongest of souls, the strongest of souls. If they were not, they would not have chosen to be born into this lifetime knowing that they couldn't handle it. Another side note, a lot of children that are very young, that are being born, and it's been since the early 2000s, that are being born in, and they're being diagnosed with autism, um, many spectrums of autism. And I believe that I personally feel that they're not autistic. I just believe that they're crystal children, and their way of communicating is by using telepathy. That's why a lot of them don't use words and they don't speak. So a lot of doctors are saying, that they're having speech delay, learning disorders. And it's not that they're having any speech delay or learning disorder. It's just how they were born in, and that's how they communicate. They don't know any other way to communicate. They're the crystal children. They're the children of the future, because later on in the future, all of us are going to be able to communicate with each other without using our mouth, and we'll be able to use our minds. Telepathy. It's the way of the golden age. It's the way of the future. And I did a video on my channel, Witchy Vibes 11. Is your child a crystal child? You may want to go check that video out. So most children that have autism, and most souls that were born in with a disability, they have the gift of extreme telepathy, where they're able to communicate to their parents, their siblings, their partners, their caretakers for whatever it is that they're needing or wanting at the exact right moment. Now, for any of you who have cared for these lovely souls, will be able to tell all of us how you will just get a feeling. You'll just get a knowing when they want to be fed, or when they want to go to bed, or when they want to be bathed, or when they want something. You know, whatever it is that they're wanting, you as the caregiver will get this energetic feeling. It's kind of like being a mother to a newborn baby. When they cry, you intuitively just know that that's a cry because they want to be picked up, or that's a cry because their diaper needs to be changed, or that's a cry because they're hungry. I want to send a shout out to all the caretakers out there. We need to remember the caretakers. They too are very, very strong people whose dedication and caring often goes unseen and unnoticed. They are the link to the connection. Whoever you are, you could be a parent, you could be a friend, you could be just a random person hired to take care of somebody with a disability. You often go unseen, and I just want to let you know that we appreciate you and we love you. You are the link to the connection. Caretakers are actually pretty psychic as well. You know, when they made this contract, when you made this contract to come here to experience a disability, you made a contract with the person that's taking care of you to take care of you, to be your caretaker. So you guys will have a psychic connection. Caretakers have a very telepathic link with the ones that they're caring for. Neil Donald Walsh said it best: bless every person and condition and give thanks, for nothing happens by accident in God's world. And there is no such thing as coincidence, nor is the world buffeted by random choice or something that you call fate. I hope this video resonated with you guys. I was actually inspired to do this video because I just did a video on death is at the end, and a gentleman actually made a post that was I don't want to say negative because it was just his I guess perception of it. And so I just wanted you guys to understand that what I said in that video wasn't directed, it wasn't supposed to be a negative um, comment or projection of what I was saying in my video. And if you want to know what it is, you have to go watch the video. Death is at the end. I had mentioned something about when you die. If you are disabled and then when you die, if you're blind or if you're in a wheelchair, when you cross over and transition, when you're in spirit, you don't feel pain. You're not sick anymore. You don't have cancer. You're not blind. If you're blind when you're living, when you pass over and you transition, you can see. If you're bound to a wheelchair when you're alive, when you pass and transition, you no longer need the wheelchair because you can walk. You don't have these disabilities when you go back to spirit. That's all ego. That's all human. That's all earth-based stuff. When you're here, those are things that your soul incarnated here into a physical form to have those experiences. Those are personal experiences. For whatever reason, that soul wanted to have that experience, to live that lifetime, to go through those things that that soul had a contract to earth to come here to be in this body and experience whatever it is that you were born into, being blind, being deaf, having a certain spectrum of autism, whatever the case may be. And it's not just about disabilities either. It could be that you were born into a family where your parents are drug addicts and alcoholics, and you're just having a really rotten time as a child, and you just feel like the whole world is just like really shitty to you. And it's because you chose to be born into that lifestyle. Do you guys get it? Anyways, the point is that when you incarnate here into physical form, you're incarnating because you're wanting to volunteer to help with the ascension and what's going on, and or experience something in a physical form. And the only way that you can do that is by incarnating on earth into a human flesh vessel. Now, real quick before I wrap this up, you guys, I just wanted to say just a little reminder. If you're interested in ordering a numerology report, you can do that via PayPal. All the information is down below in the description area. Numerology is everything, you guys. Numerology is a metaphysical science based on relationships between numbers and coinciding events. It was actually introduced more than 1,000 years ago, more than 1,000 years ago, by a famous philosopher. Numerology was always treated with great respect by our ancestors. Every single number has a specific nature that creates certain vibrations. Every number has a vibration, which handles a particular pattern in your life. Numerology is an invaluable tool that will help to reveal what your talents are and what's your hidden potential. So if you're interested in getting one of these reports by me, it's very simple. My email is down below. You email me, I can send you the PayPal link. The cost is only $11.11. It's an energy exchange, 1111. And I email you the full report. It's about 10 to 12 pages long, and it's full of lots and lots of amazing information. Remember, star seeds, we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Many blessings to all of you guys. Lots of love and lots of light.